Hello, I am the TheZOMBIEJ. Actually, good morning. I am the TheZOMBIEJ because it's in the morning where I'm at. And we're in the living room today to talk about the Lego Marvel DC and DC superhero ultra build sets. I never got any of these. Well, technically I got the Batman one. It was incomplete. I found it at a thrift store for like a couple bucks. Scratched off the Batman logo on the chest armor so I could use the chest armor for a different mod. And unfortunately it's now in parts, and I can still use the parts to build, I don't know, a water toa or whatever I want, you know. So yeah. Also, the head for Batman is now gone. I took it to the minifig shop, and I don't know how much I got for it, for just the head of Batman, but yeah, I gave them a decapitated Batman head. Wow. Anyway, so there was 6 of these sets. 3 Marvel, 3 DC. The problem with the DC ones is that you got 2 superheroes and 1 supervillain. I think you know which supervillain that one is. Which supervillain that is. Iconic. It's the Joker. Yep, the Joker. Joke. Anyway, let's rate him. The Joker looked pretty cool. He had like coattails, I think. He had some kind of weapon. I don't remember what. His face looked fugly as hell. Yeah, the heads for these sets weren't the best, but at least the masked ones and the ones with helmets like Iron Man were actually more believable. Though with Joker, you had a different sort of color scheme for this bloke. He looked pretty cool, honestly, and the parts could be used to create your own mocks. That's the beauty of CCBS. You can build whatever you want with it. Some people like to think otherwise and prefer the original construction. More power to you. But hey, CCBS is a fun system and you can't convince me otherwise. Joker had a exclusive print of a flower that squirts water. It doesn't actually squirt water, it's just a decal on his chest. And I think there was also like a electric bolt thing recolored to look like a tie. I don't know, it was weird. Again, the face was fugly, but he was supposed to be a clown, so if you want a better clown, look at Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses. So overall, Joker was an interesting set. I've seen the pics, I've seen the reviews for it. I'm not that excited to buy it myself, especially in retrospect. Could use the parts, but still. Now the other 2 DC characters are superheroes. You got Batman, whose wings were just kind of makeshift for the most part. They were not that great. They used blue Ben 10 tails, and that's pretty cool. That means you get to use those blue Ben 10 tails for, I don't know, a water toa mock. I've used them for a magical girl mock. Can't remember her name. The video is on YouTube still, I think, the review. But Batman, the head may look much better than the Joker head. Because let's face it, Joker looks ugly. It's not that great. But the Batman head, I didn't want to keep it, so I took it to the minifig shop, and yeah, probably got at least $1 or $2 out of it. Because I was never going to use it again. he came with a double-bladed sword-like thing, which, you know, it was silver with a black rim, serrated thing. That's a pretty cool design, and it's been used in multiple sets, including Batman, and also in Stormer XL and Breeze from Brain Attack, or Breakout, sorry. Hero Factory Breakout. And again, this was more parts you could use to build your own mocks with this Batman set, including torso armor, CCBS torso armor in blue. Now that's pretty cool. I like that. And they came with like 2 of it in blue and 1 in gunmetal. Also, you got that chest armor in blue. Yeah. The wings may be lame, and the sword thing might be not very Batman-like, but at least it gave at least it got the point across that hey, this is Batman. And if the head doesn't tell you, or the logo on the chest armor doesn't tell you, I don't know what will. The other DC hero is Green Lantern. He looks like a conglomerate. The face, the head is not that great. It's trying to be Green Lantern, but it just doesn't look that great. Green Lantern has this ring around his middle finger, probably. And the fist piece, no fisting jokes please, that they use for the CCBS characters was in white, but the ring, where the ring would be, so he can, you know, launch laser blasts or whatever, or create weird stuff with it. Well, the thing that was created this time around for this set was a long shaft-like thing with spines on it. It ends with a half of a spike boulder thing. I don't know, it was in trans green of some sort. It was a weird weapon choice, but whatever. Everything else on the character, you had color scheme of white, green, very nice green, and probably some other colors, I can't remember. But this was a decent set for the most part. The head might not be great. The weapon might be weird at best. But overall, at least you can use them for parts, and that's the key to wanting to purchase these sets, is for the parts, so you can build your own mocks. Now we get to the Marvel sets. And the first one I want to talk about is Iron Man. Iron Man, this is the one that I wanted the most, and yet I never got it. At the time I didn't care enough. Probably because, I mean, I was never going to get all the sets. I did get all 6 of the Legends of Chima sets that were released in 2013. I didn't get all the DC and superhero, Marvel and DC superhero ones. Primarily just, I guess it's just not, it's me not caring enough, because it's like, whatever, you know, I can just forget about it and whatever. But when it came to Iron Man, at least the head looks better than any of the other heads of these characters. He had red and gold as his primary color scheme. And you had the villain core piece from Hero Factory in gold, which is a pretty damn good piece, and that color for that piece is excellent. I like the choice of, you know, which colors of parts go where, and you know, it's balanced really well. I feel like the upper arm armor for all of these sets is a little too much. But whatever. He also has a giant shoulder gun thing. Why does he need that? He doesn't need that. What? I guess they just felt like they had to give him a weapon of some sort, so they gave him a giant shoulder-mounted blaster of some sort. At least it's cool looking, I guess, but yeah, that's the only complaint I have with Iron Man from the Marvel and DC superhero Ultra builds. The next one is Hulk. Hulk has the wide chest armor in lime green, which is pretty cool. And people have used that to create a Breeze XL mock, which is interesting, but yeah. The face for Hulk, albeit, looks kind of okay. He looks quite angry and pissed off, and yeah. I question some of the choices they made for Hulk here. Like, they gave him gunmetal armor in a couple spots for some reason. And they used the paw pieces for CCBS, you know, where you can clip on some claws and make fingers and whatnot. Well, they used those in lime green, which is a cool color for that piece. But the problem is, it just comes off as a forced idea. I get it, the Hulk has bigger fists than the normal human characters and non-human characters. But, I mean, whatever, you know. There are blue elements to Hulk for his, you know, shorts. And, yeah. The generic foot design for CCBS is in lime green this time around. No surprise, we got that before. And overall, this Hulk build looks pretty good. It's just a little bit disappointing in terms of the color palette with the gunmetal bits. If I recall, there are gunmetal bits on the shoulders somewhere. The build for Hulk is different than the others, primarily because, you know, it's more built up for, I have to draw a comparison to Chi Gorzan from Legends of Chima. That's a pretty good build, and it adds sort of something to the overall build. And, because if the chest armor, the wide chest armor is occupying the two ball joints that would normally go, or normally have the arms attached to them, well, you can build up on the back of the torso and create some new spots for the arms to go on. And that's a pretty cool idea. And they did that with Chi Gorzan, and I think they did that with Hulk too. I can't remember, but Hulk is pretty good for the most part. It's just, I don't really care for the gunmetal armor bits. Make those lime green instead. And the final hero is Captain America. He's got the shield. The face, the head is not that great. That's all I'll say about that. The shield, it's Captain America's shield. What do you expect? Obviously, the colors are red, white, and blue, and also some gunmetal. And you know, it's balanced really well, the color scheme for this set. But I think there's a little too much unnecessary bulk to this set, and I don't get why they added as much bulk as they did. They were trying to make these more stylized compared to the minifig characters from the Marvel and DC system sets. They were trying to make them more stylized for CCBS, and it ended up becoming a mess. A lot of these sets look messy and not well polished because I think they were just skipping around when it comes to costs of trying to design and create these things. And overall, you gotta cut corners somewhere, and so you add all this unnecessary bulk, and it ends up making the sets look kind of shit, to be honest. And Captain America is a victim of this. But overall, when it comes to the Marvel and DC superhero ultra build sets, I mean, it's nice to have more CCBS sets on the market in 2013, which is when these things were released. But, at the same time, it felt like, they were just adding more sets to the Marvel and DC, roster that they have in releasing Marvel and DC sets each year. This time in 2013, it felt a little unnecessary, but hey, you could still buy these sets on eBay and use up all the parts to build something else. If you don't like the heads of these characters, and if you don't like the choices that were made in designing these characters. So you could just take all 6 of the heads and toss them in the garbage, I guess, I don't know, and just use the parts. The prices for these sets, I think they were about $15 each, and for 2013, I think that was a bit fair, to be honest, because back in 2013, prices weren't as exuberantly bad as they are today. And, yeah, so I remember the days when Lego sets were cheaper instead of more expensive. Because, let's face it, corporate greed is a demonic possession, let's be honest. So the Marvel and DC superhero ultra build sets are pretty good for the most part. It's just at times it feels like they're a bit messy, and they had potential to succeed. I just don't think that enough of these sold enough for Lego to consider another wave of Marvel and DC characters. And there was no reason for them to actually, make more of these, because nowadays we've got the construction figures, we've got Iron Man, we got Captain America, we don't have Hulk yet, but I'm expecting Hulk. He's going to require a lot more parts, and it's going to cost up to probably $70, because Lego, yeah, greed. So, woof. So, yeah. Overall, the Marvel and DC superhero ultra builds are pretty good. But they could be better. And you know what? They did a better job around with the construction figures of these days. The tall things. I remember getting Iron Man for $40, and that is a pretty good build. It really is awesome, and it incorporates a light thing. It lights up the Allspark. Not Allspark, that's Transformers. I can't remember what that's called. Crap. I don't know my Iron Man lore as much as I thought I did. But, yeah, something arc reactor, there we go. So, I think the Captain America construction figure. Looks pretty good. It's just the face looks a bit comical and weird, but yeah, there's nothing you can do about that except complain about it on a YouTube video like this. I mean, there's only so much you can do before LEGO decides to, you know, just ignore us and release the sets anyway. So what do you think about the Marvel DC superhero Ultra builds? And what do you think about the successors to these Ultra builds in terms of, well, at least Batman, Iron Man, and Captain America? Because we didn't get a Joker, Green Lantern, or Hulk for the construction figures of nowadays. But I'm expecting those, primarily because, well, we kind of need them. We have Batman. Why not give us Joker to go along with it? So far, they've only been doing superheroes for the construction figures of nowadays. And, well, there's only one supervillain, and that's Green Goblin, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm expecting more supervillains to come around, probably Thanos. But the thing is about the Marvel CCBS sets, there were bootlegs that were released of those. There was Black Panther, there was Thanos, there was another Iron Man, I think. There was a lot of these characters. Captain Marvel wasn't released as a bootleg CCBS set, and yeah, I think that's discriminatory, but I would have liked to see a Captain Marvel CCBS figure. That would have been cool. But they didn't do that because, I don't know. I can't tell you why, because I don't know why. So overall, what else is there to say about all this? Well, if the bootlegs are still available, and get those. But if not, then, you know, whatever. At least when it came to the bootlegs, that's more parts that you can use in your mock builds. But be careful, because the quality may not be as good as Legos. Or maybe the quality might be better than Legos. You never know. You never know with bootlegs. You just gotta go out there and experiment with these and, you know, make your own judgment call. I know some people have morals about purchasing bootlegs instead of Lego official sets, but come on. Lego's not helping themselves, they're not helping you, they're not helping anyone. CCBS is dead for them, but, you know, if these bootleg companies are still making CCBS parts, you know, you might as well. Hell, there's the 2015 piece from Bionicle G2 that's in lime green. That's a good color for that piece. You know, the piece that attaches to an armor shell. That's pretty cool to have that in lime green. I want 6 of those, like seriously. I could totally use those for some mock. I don't know what I want to build with those yet, but yeah. Anyway, so that's it for this video. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, or I might be back today with another video. That was a redundant sentence, but whatever. So, what do you think about the Marvel and DC Superhero Ultra Build CCBS sets? That was a mouthful. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks later. Have a good fucking day, and peace.